Hello folks, the Celtic Nerd here bringing you another nerdy video, and as you can see we are back with some Ludosport content. I know it's been a while, but there's been a few hiccups in terms of my Ludosport content, getting the permissions for me to record people sparring. But we are back. I have the permissions for all members of this arena. So there we go. No, I know normally I've been having two arenas lately, but there's some hiccups involving some people who are a bit too young to give me their permission outright. That I gave them permission slips for them to sign at home. If they get them signed, things should go back to two arenas. If they don't, then we'll be sticking to just the one arena, and then afterwards we'll be we'll have another bridge to cross, and that is when it comes to the tournament. But other than that, the tournament, however, will have two cameras. Our Live Sport tournament will have two cameras, both on the same side, but obviously from different angles. So that's something to look forward to. This is going to be our first time doing multiple cameras, so it's a bit of a trial run. Hopefully it'll work out, and if it does work out, we might open it up to possibly having more cameras in the future. The real trick is having cameras that will have a battery supply and a memory and the memory that will last the entirety of a tournament. I should have taken my antihistamines. My nose is a little meh, and so is my throat a little bit. My it's getting to summer. Throat's getting a little iffy. All right, so today we have a game of debt to show to you guys. Now, even with game of debt being a fun way to exercise, how should I put it? It's a fun way to exercise your reflexes and sort of like the aggressive mentality. But it's also it's mainly to just help develop like your situational awareness, like of not only the edge of the arena, but also by the fact that an attack can come from any angle. Like, it helps us develop being aware. So here we go. Uh, this arena starts off a little slow. Let's get started. Well, uh, we seem to have lost the video. There we go. So yeah, the arena starts off a little slow. As you can see, there's not many people ready, but we have two eager combatants here. Both of them are doing excellent form. There, there's not much there. Nice counter tempo. Nice, nice counter tempo with the ratio. And here is here's the this member that has been helping me with my recordings. He's doing very well. Not the best technique there. He should have, not him. He should have gone to target because he did the technique wrong. But again, people like during a training exercise, people don't always think go to target. And here we have one of our members who has excellent reflexes. I don't know what's this, but don't ask. He's just helping breed. Okay, right. Give me a sec, folks. Uh, okay, so I'm not. The video's not on my computer. I'm actually down watching it from my drive. So hold on. Let me. Can I download it? Do, do, do. I'm so sorry, folks, about this. There we go. Videos. Ludosport. Oh. What minute were we on? We were on 154. There we go. So yeah, I don't. But again, we have some. It looks like we're going to see some great service. So yeah, like right there, he's telling him like to relax and breathe. Agree. Hold on. I think I see a trend with him and the lower attacks. Hold on. Hold on. Can I change the speed? Yeah, speed. Here we go. Let's go to 0.5. Okay. Because I think I noticed something with him. He has good, like, upper Yeah, okay, I'm seeing it now. I saw that. I might want to warn him that, um, yeah, I might want to warn him that, like, he is accidentally bringing the attacks in now. I think the pendulum motion saved him, and the pendulum motion has been saving him. Like, now again, this is how good the pendulum motion is and why it's important to practice it. And if you get really good, like, it can save you even in when you make a mistake. Is that he's bringing the attacks. Technically, his blade is on the outside, which means if he was if his opponent was to go to target, he could accidentally bring the attack into his leg, or in this case into his knee, and his opponent can get the O. So, but again, like I've seen, it's a common thing. So I'm sure, like once I point that out to him, like, hey, this is a weakness that an opponent can exploit if they notice it. Like for example, we have our tournament coming up, and if I was against him, and I did not warn him about this, I could potentially exploit it to get O's. So I'm gonna let him know. All right. Oh, here we go. Um, that does happen quite often in our games of death. Is like, um, yeah, he's not doing a lot of rally correctly. You'll we see a lot with the Vendentes, or sorry, the upper. Sorry, when people do a Quinta or Cesta. Where's that? Yeah, that was way too low for La Raleigh. Nice work of the rings, though, from him. Nice use on pendulum. Nice footwork. He's stepping out with his laterales. Nice! Nice. Oh, it's always nice to see that. Now, there's an exercise that I try and get people to think about in this arena for Game of Death. Because with the tournament coming up, I want to help everyone get prepared with Form 2, or at least facing Form 2. So I did something. Um, I did some Form 2 stuff that, like, to try and get them to think. And after facing two people, I pointed out directly with him. So keep the pressure on him. He's in the corner. Keep the pressure on him. Nice Montante. Montantes are always good to get a nice sneak strike in. Nice. She's making use of that reach. That could have been a doppio, but looking at both of them stepped back. Not great footwork there. Like, that's why he lost his balance there, like, a little bit. We see, yeah, hon. We saw something there that is unfortunately very common with new people. Hold on, what technique is he using? Laterale, Montante, ratio. Yeah, okay, yeah, so I was right. So, one of the most common mistakes I see with new members, and this, look now, she is a new member, so, like, that's why I'm pointing out that it's common, is when they get into the trend of blocking their lower body and then having to protect their shoulder, you would see often is the instinct, because again, it's just instinct. They raise their technique, the montante, secunda, and then for as part of that whole like, just sort of trend, because their hands are already in that position, they would just raise their weapon to like to be like that. It's a bit unfortunate, um, but uh, hopefully if I point it out to again, this is why I do these videos, is hopefully that if she's watching this video, she will hear this and see her mistake and then be like, okay, I need to fix that. It's one of the reasons why I watch my mistakes is so I'm like, okay, I know not I need to not do that. Hence why I started stepping more out with my semifundos. But the reason why that mistake, now that mistake in particular, again, it's common. I'm not angry or like saying like she needs to be in trouble. No, no, no. That's not what I'm saying at all. Out of out of all the mistakes that new people do, that mistake terrifies me. And the reason why it terrifies me is because if because when it's not addressed and it becomes like more established in their muscle memory, there's a certain there are some techniques with that I am terrified to do against people that I know is have that muscle memory to raise their blade up like that, particularly in Form 1. And that is when I do a lateral. Now, this has happened to me, and this is why it terrifies me. And I've seen it also happen to other people. But when it happens, if you go in with a laterale, or if they are experienced enough that you're easing them into again to face in Form 2, with a semifundo medio, or a semifundo alta. Actually, according to some of the stuff I've been reading, they removed semifundo alta, so there's only semifundo medio. But if you do a semifundo medio that's targeting elbow to shoulder area, and they do that block, or again, if or even in some cases with the laterale, when you do that technique and they raise their blade like that, what can happen, and it has happened to me a couple of times, is let's say this is the I need something a bit longer. I'll use the tripod. So the tripod is coming in with the laterale. This is the raised thing. So what I notice often happens, and luckily enough, no one has been injured, as of yet. Just to let's make this a bit longer and thinner so I can, so these guys can hopefully better see. What often happens is they bring it up and you see they bring it up and they because they're pushing the blade up, the target of the blade goes up. Or if they also have the reflex of trying to more so parry the techniques, like they're push, like they have a habit of pushing. There's a few people that that are still in the habit of like just trying to more so push their opponent's blade away, rather than just simply stop it. What can happen is either they bring the blade up, or because of the motion, they knock the blade up towards the head. Now, with the laterale, it's a two-handed strike, but we do practice control, and you've seen that we don't even use that much speed. So, I think the laterale, I don't know which one would be safer in terms like which one is technically the least likely to cause injury. But a laterale and a semifundo, the semifundo suffers against it more because it's a one-handed technique. So we don't have as strong of a grip of our blade, so our blade is more easily knocked up because of it. But yeah, that simple newbie mistake terrifies me whenever I come across it, because I'm just like, oh my god, my, because during a fight, if I fight against someone who I see that does that mistake, I can't help but start thinking in the back of my head, oh my god, what if I do a laterale or a semifundo, and they panic and they do that awkward that they do that wrong block, and my blade gets brought up to their head or their neck. No, like that's what goes through my head, because I'm like, I don't want to hurt anyone. So like that terrifies me. So I'm gonna request that, like, at some point. Oh, there's this. See, that's what I like with the. Now she did not only did she deny me my sneak attack, but she got me. She also eliminated me. But that's what I like to see in Game of Death, and it's what should be really done in Game of Death, is this sudden strike, as opposed to people do run in, but they do a ring or they get into guard in front of their opponent. But let's see what eliminated me that time. Let's see. I want to see what exactly eliminated me. So I went in. Okay, it wasn't a letter LA. It's a thing that it's the thing that I often see with the Quinta and Sesta. They don't do a tech. It's a common thing. They don't do a technique. What happens is let's see. I wish I could rewind it a bit more precise, but we're gonna slow it down a little bit. No, again, it's muscle memory. See, like right there, proper laterale. Now, the only reason why I'm pointing this out is because Form 1 is a bit stricter, and we're told to do techniques properly. So it's a she it's it, they do a similar sort of semi fundo. It's like a weird, like it's no, it's not, it's only done against me. It's done against loads of people. They tend to do like a weird like combination of a semi fundo. It looks like. So there it is. See that, like, it's most common with when I see it most often when people do a quinta or sesta. They would just then do a, they just do this sort of like trust technique against, now luckily enough, right target. If my arm was not up, like, well done, because I most often I see when people do that weird semi-fundo form one, they tend to target the belly, or like the lower bot, like the mid section of the body. Luckily enough, I'm trying not to say names. She, like, her target would have been my shoulder. That is like, again, she like went to target, but again did a weird semi-fundo thrust. And again, it's something I've been noticing, and I don't know. Maybe Form One has changed enough to that, like, technically that is legal. I don't know. I'm not a Form One instructor. It's just that I'm only making observations from what I know from when I did Form One, and I was always told you have, like, a semifundo has that motion, even the quick motion. Even if you don't do the whole, raise up, step out, and then strike. Like, it's even the shortcutted version is still, you know there's that motion. But with her, what she did, what I see is people doing this, and then just doing that. They do a fairly stabbing technique, and it's a little disappointing. Now let's return to normal speed. But again, Oh, what? I don't understand the edit there. I'm helping out another student and there's no one else. Nice E. Nice use of the pendulum. Again, someone does a laterale technique. Someone does the wrong block. You saw what happened there. She did a prima. Vendente was a little stabby there. No, it was. Yeah, I slowed down quite a bit for this one. A lot of good potential with this one. She, her technique, her pendulum is not precise yet, but it's getting there. Like it's really good. No, I did the wrong block there. There we go. I need. Ah, come on, push me out, push me out. No, that was a dopio. But yeah, so again, like even like even I made that mistake of doing the wrong block. So yeah, that's something that I need to be more aware of. I'm gonna have to really practice on like doing the correct block because like that block could have gone so wrong for me if it wasn't for the pendulum. Pressure. Ah, no. Yeah, I. Oh god, I need to work on my burpees. Uh, nice. Come on, pressure. There's these weird edit jumps. See, okay, we seen. All right, so we saw him attempt that weird thrust again. Uh, like hold on. Let's see. What if we, like, there we go. You see right there. He went. It's most common when you do a quinto or sesta. We see them just drop their blade and either now he tried to do a run by, very similar to a form two technique, but I'm gonna ask our form one instructor, like, is that a thing now, where we can, when we do a quinta or a sesta, we can just drop our blades and hit our opponent. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna ask about that because I have been seeing it in frequency. Like when I was doing Form One, like that was not a technique. But again, Ludosport is a constantly evolving sport. It went for that technique again with the jump at it. I don't know what exactly is going on. Nice, nice retreat, keeping his opponent from controlling his blade. Nice control there. That could have gone so wrong. Let's see what happened there. Was it a technique? Like, let's see. Okay, I need to slow this down. Let's go to speed. Well, you actually can't see me edit. You don't see the actual table of me doing it. So yeah, I'm actually selecting 0.5. I'm surprised you don't see me when I bring up this like little sidebar. Okay, let's see what happens there with that mistake. So he does a laterale. He tries to control his blade and strike. Alright, and let's see here. He does diagonale. He defends with diagonale. Okay, I see what happened. He attempted to defend with a diagonale, but he did not. With when you're defending with a diagonale against a diagonale, you're supposed to target the blade. He brought his blade down way early, and because he was stepping, like let's see if I can rewind to just the tiniest amount. Ah, see, I can't. Um, where was it? Where was it? Oh, alright. So here we go. This is as close as we can get to it. I think. Did we just lose it? Yeah. Okay. There we go. So like, he stepped. Because he stepped as well as trying to do his diagonale. So like, there you go. He stepped. Like he changed the target. Um, I know combat is a fluid thing, but we practice stepping back. When you're using a diagonale to defend against a diagonale, you still have the mentality of defending. So you should be retreating from the blade. He stepped towards the blade, and because he stepped towards it, he changed the target from the shoulder to, well, his face. But luckily enough, he caught the mistake. He caught the mistake and retracted his blade. So great reflexes on him. I better warn him about that, because stepping to your opponent's you stepping in a weird way when you're doing a defensive thing can relate to a potential injury. Like last year during a mini tournament, both me and my friends, we both did semifundos, but because I also attacked, I changed the target. We were both our technically both our step and our technique was correct, but because of me stepping to attack rather than defend, I changed the target. So instead of getting me um, just on my side, um, the tip of like me stepping caused the tip of his blade to instead actually stab into me. And that's because instead of defending, I went on the attack. And from what I seen there, it looks like he was attempting to defend, and he stepped towards it rather than away. So, you almost got my Flore. God, my nose is just being so irritable right now. A little high on that lateral rally. And again, we see that just that simple. I need to ask a Form 1 instructor about that. Now, I know we seen with him a few times, and we saw a bad. Did we just see a very bad thing there? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, but did I catch it? Am I going to point it out? I think this is when I do a lot of like Form like trying to help a Form 2. There you go. So I held it, telling him to do something, but this is where it shines in. Watch. I'm using what's called prima absoluta. And they're like, come on, yeah, you almost had it. Sorry, I get excited, even though I know he gets it. I get excited. So I'm using now right here. I'm using prima absoluta. Absolutely wrong. I am using it absolutely wrong. Um, for one thing, you don't just hold prima absoluta because or guardia alta because it's a huge target, and this is like we're gonna see what like how it's a huge target, but that's one way I'm using it wrong. The other way is something I was just doing, just there, like hold on, let's see if I can get. There we go. Look now, there that one I did it that wrong. There I did it wrong. Did it wrong. Doing it wrong. Doing it wrong. Doing it wrong. Doing it wrong. Did it wrong. So now, to my knowledge, it's the same. It's still the same. When you do Guardia Alta or Prima Absolute, you do not step forward. Especially with Guardia Alta. You do not step forward because our blade is pointed down and it's pointing. It points to the back shoulder. Depending on how your opponent stand, it could be tilted like this, or it could, depending on like again like if when I fought against one of our female members, um, because she was using Form 2, her back shoulder was on the same side as my dominant. So my prima absolute, according to what I'm studying, it pointed straight towards her. Now, see how it can be dangerous if I was to just go forward. It can become it's very easy to accidentally stab someone. So that is something I was doing absolutely wrong, but I want to put some pressure on him to do what he just did, and which is if you're a Form 1 person and some person or even a Form 2 person or whatever, and someone comes at you just holding Guardia Alta, forget your opponent, smack the blade. Well, that's what I was told. So here we go. I do it, and I told him like, okay, smack the blade. This time I think I just stand still. There we go. Yeah, get him to do it again. Oh, do I not get him to do it again? All right. So with that little tip done, I actually. So I'm trying to pressure him to go out, and he gets me. He gets the O on me. So, unfortunately, for a game of death, this arena was a little tame. Now, see what I did there? I tried to use my stepping out. That was Doppio. His defense is getting really good. Like he refused to step back when I was trying to pressure him with the semifundos. Because like that used to be a big weakness of his, was like he kept getting fluoride because he would panic and retreat. So I've been spending the last year trying to push him out of the arena by just aggressive, and then that's me pointing out that he's pushing. Like, just relax, just simply block the technique, and then just breathe. All right. Actually, no. How did that fight go? So he shifted attack there. Yeah, he was just done. He got, it was a E, but he decided he was done. Which, again, if you're feeling like you're overtired, like, that was a good thing, because if you're feeling like you're overtired, if you're too tired, you can make mistakes. It may be better for you just to simply be like, you know what, I'm done, and step out. So, well done on him for potentially spotting that he might have been, for doing that. Nice. Another common mistake just there. Um, so at the end, that was the last fight, but that was recorded. But we saw another common mistake with new people. So we're just gonna quickly lower the speed down. Okay, so now it's again, this is the one of the most common mistakes I've seen, is with the Montante and the Riechos. So here we go. Watch. Does the attack sequence. Yeah. It's also it's common when they first learn Montantes and Riechos, but when they get to when you it becomes the mistake becomes even more common when introduced to laterales, and that is because, for some, like, I don't know, I guess this is the reason why. I think the reason why the mistake becomes common with those things is because your in like your instinct is to, with swords, your instinct is to swing. You know, is not your instinct is not to, push like that. That's not really an instinctual thing. When you pick up a sword, you think, oh, swing, 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 nah, thrust, or okay, that is technically a swing, but you don't think of that, like, that type of weird movements. You think, sweep or slash. You think slashing mostly. So people tend to do that, and then when they move on to the laterales, because they're doing what feels, somewhat natural with a sword. It sort of weirdly blends together, and you get this whole, like, they get a very, like, slashing, the other parts of the body. But again, it is the end of the day. No, so it is the end of the day. So I'm gonna chalk this up to, her being tired. I will point out, like, hey, I noticed in the last in one of your in your last fight, last in the game of death, you did a really weird hybrid of Montante and Makshahan. She's facing this way. Yeah, you did a really weird hybrid of Laterale and Riesho, which I guess is a little bit worse, because, like, it's more easier to make that mistake with the Montante because it still has your two hands. But Riesho is so unique within Form One, it really is weird to do that type of mistake with two hands with Riesho. Hold on. Yeah, she targeted this side. Yeah, so it was with Riesho. Well, she should have used Riesho to attack her lower leg like that. Um, then again, you could use Montante to target either leg, actually. So, typically, I always remember as Montante as, the right side, Riesho left. But yeah, uh, it's something I would definitely want to bring up to her. Like, or again, maybe I wouldn't have to, and maybe she watches this video and knows it's her own mistake. I know it's like, I know it's a few mistakes on my part, but I do hate the fact that I did bad form two there with Guardia Alta, but I wanted to put pressure on them to figure out, you know, remove the blade from the equation, you know. Um, Another thing I was told to do is if you're a little bonus thing. I was also actually I should not really do this during a video. But like I'm gonna suggest I'm gonna once we get I'm hoping next week is our trial class, so there will be no videos next this week, and the same goes for the following week. But I do personally plan to ask the instructors like, hey, we're getting closer to the tournament. Is it okay if we have like we go over the fence against Form Two and what you can do against some of the harder things to deal with Form Two, like for example, Guardia Alta. Luckily enough, I've seen a good bit of pendulum with this group, with all these members, so they should have an easier time with the semifundos because of that. Um, I've been using Form Two against a good number of them, so they should like they it should not be like, oh my god, it's Form Two, because that is also the biggest thing, is whenever you're fighting a new form, you're like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? But hopefully by them facing Form Two with me, they're a bit more relaxed. But I still want to go over how to properly deal with it. Like they may not it might not have the shock value against them anymore, but like there's still some things they're falling for, and I want to go over, that, so that way, if they face Form Two in the tournament, they're like, okay, I know what you're doing. I know what you're trying to trick me into, doing. I'm not gonna fall for it. So that's my plan. Hopefully, and hopefully, like I will get a chance to be like, hey, be wary if your opponent drops their guard into this weird position. Uh, do not try and just carelessly approach an opponent when they do Guardia Alta. Remove the blade. Now, again, Stephen did again. I should not say names. He did a great job on it when we got to it. There was you couldn't see it, but there were people behind the camera watching, and that's why I did that gesture. Like, guys, look what he did. Like, So, yeah, that was. Well, these videos have gotten longer now that I added these commentaries bit sections. Again, I'm happy and I'm thrilled to see the improvement in everyone. In my opinion, the biggest improvement though is still this man here. From what like, because it was not long ago where he would floor himself. He was down on himself in terms of fighting capabilities, but like he has he has seen so much improvement, and I really think with his reflexes and his response time, like to retreating away from the blade or changing his attack into a defense or whatever, like, and all that, with the speed that he has, I I am so excited to see him do Form Two. He does need to. There's still some progress. He still needs to relax a little bit. But oh my god, the potential there is. Oh, no, don't get me wrong. All of them have potential. Like one of our new members, another new member who has also just a bunch of potential. is let's see where there he is. He also has a bunch of potential, and I can't wait to see them get to advanced form 1 and then eventually to form 2. Sorry, I just get I'm passionate about Ludosport. I love it, and I love like I also just love seeing the growth in my fellow members. It's I'm just like, and I also like thinking back on like how bad I was. And also just like how I still struggle with my muscle memory from other sword practice I did in the past. Like, it was atrocious, which is why I often luckily enough, when I always ask my instructor, like, hey, how is this technically valid? I know, like, I asked my form 2 instructor, like, because I had a muscle memory of just dropping my blade and hitting them with the flat of it rather than doing the ring. There was a technique where you would step in, get them to, and then you would do like we call it's a directo, and you would hit them in the shoulder. Now, because I would often do a full step with it, I would end up hitting them. Like, I would actually, instead of it at the shoulder, my blade would sometimes wind up on their back because I was doing a full step and then the turn. But like, I asked him, like, hey, is it okay if I just simply just go like this, get the E on them, and then just drop it? He was like, yeah, that is a technique. It's a, we were going to cover it next week, but yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, that's another thing. Like, there's a lot of the things that I'm used to doing that is not until later forms, and I can't wait to get to those later forms and see uh, the stuff that I practice. Like how it's been implemented into Ludosport. But yeah, the potential, like the growth in everyone is still amazing. Are we perfect? No. Do we make mistakes? Yeah, of course. Like, and the point, like, and again, the point of these videos is for me to see my mistakes. Oh, I did not notice that. That is a very low Lara. I'm gonna have to point that out as well. Just because, like, if you don't practice your target, you might end up if you don't practice proper targeting with your laterales, it can lead to very dangerous situations. But yeah, anyway, that's my rant of how proud I am of my fellow members. Sorry, uh, there, as I said, there might not be any videos next week or the following week because we have a trial class, and I believe unless we do 2 arenas, then yeah, like I won't be recording that because it's a trial class. I'm not going to seek to get their permission to record during their trial class. It's a waste. I would rather wait, see if they join, and then seek to get their permission to record. So if we do 2 arenas, then yes, there might be some footage. If not, if we do only do 1 arena, then no, I will not record. But their sparring day is coming up. We're going to have some guests from the UK. I will print out some permission slips for them because I was told, like, hey, get permission slip even for the sparring day for our new guests from the UK. So I will be doing that. So hopefully on sparring day, which again, it's sparring day, so there should be loads of footage. I might not even do any commentary on it. But yeah, this is I have some things to do. I need to actually get some my antihistamines because oh my goddamn nose, and it's my allergies is getting to my throat, and it's also now it's starting to get to my eyes as they're getting all itchy and whatnot. So I'm gonna have to take my antihistamines, get something to eat, hopefully I'll be back um, later with some Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. God, my allergies. Oh God. I want to get this video out of the way because it's been a while since I did a Ludosport video. But yeah. This is the Celtic Nerd. Sign out. One name, one sky.